Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alondra Elizabeth. Hi if you're new here. What up to everybody else? Today's video is going to be one that I've been thinking I wanted to do for a good minute. So I'm excited to be filming it. And truthfully, I'm not exactly sure like where this is going to land, like how interested y'all are going to want this, or like if you people are going to agree with me or not, whatever. But this is just what's been on my mind after finishing my 2L year. And so without further ado, the video is about whether extracurriculars are worth it in law school. Dun dun dun. So as a 1L, most of the time you are told not to do any extracurriculars, just to focus on classes and then just do schoolwork, right? As a 2L, like that ban is lifted. You can do whatever the heck you want. It is up to you to decide what you want to do if you want to do something. So some of the main things people mostly do is law review or moot court. And I did apply for moot court, but when I applied to moot court, I specifically told them that I only wanted to be on one team, which was gonna be like an asylum moot court competition. And so that was the only thing that was in line with my interest. And the other teams, I didn't really want to do them. And a piece of advice that I heard at the time when I was considering doing moot court or not, one of the 3Ls at that time told me, don't do things just to do them. Do them if they align with what you want to do, and if not, then it's not worth your time. And if you're applying to this and they have the potential of that team, like just tell them flat out like what you're interested in. Because if you're not interested in doing another team, then like why would you spend your time and effort, energy doing it, right? So it felt weird to be in an interview being like, yes, I will love to join your team if you'll take me, only if you do this one thing. Because if you don't, bye, I don't want to do this. So it did feel weird to like actually do, but that's what I did, because I was very stressed at that moment when I was deciding whether I wanted to do moot court or not, because I love debating. I love doing all of that like stuff, being on a team. Like I did it in high school. And I've always just been interested in it. When I did the 1L competition, like I won that and I loved it. I just remember why I liked doing that in the first place. But I did know that it'd take up a lot of time. Like doing moot court was like 5 or 6 units. Like it took up a lot of like your space just academically. And then obviously like you have to practice with your teammates and like go to the competitions and like spend time, doing all of that, which would be fun, but you still need to take other classes and everything, right? So that's one thing. So I didn't end up being on the team because it didn't end up going to that competition. And then I don't know if y'all recall, I had a video of where I started the law review application, but then I like didn't complete it. And that's just because like I just realized I don't like doing that stuff. I'm not a technical person. I was trying to do it because everybody was telling me to do it. And then also like back in my mind, I've never been confident with my writing skills. So then law review would be a way to improve those writing skills. But ultimately I just decided like, no, I don't genuinely like or enjoy doing this. I'll figure out a different way to improve my writing skills. Like I do not need to do this thing because everybody's doing it and everybody tells me to do it, right? I make my own decisions, god dang it. So I didn't do any of the obvious extracurriculars. I just wanted to talk about them though, because I know that's a big thing people do and spend energy and time on. And I do have friends who did it. They enjoyed it. It's what they wanted to do. So it's fine. It's just not what I wanted to do. And so I didn't do it. What I did do is that I was a tutor my fall semester of 2L year. That was something that took up a lot of time as well. But I did want to do it because it was for the program that I was involved in as a 1L. So it was a way to give back to the program. And then also I was a contracts tutor. And the reason why I was a contracts tutor was because I did well in the class, obviously, but I wasn't like the most comfortable with that concept, with that class. So being a tutor helped me like become more confident in what I knew about the concepts of that class, and like being able to talk that through with other people and explain things and all of that stuff. Like it like ingrained contracts more in my mind now. So it's also as a way for me to kind of still maintain myself familiar with the concept in regards to like bar prep that's going to happen in the future. So that's one of the reasons why I did tutoring. I would probably do it again because it was very fulfilling to work with one else coming in and like, again, just like being part of that program and like helping people, just the way I was helped a year before. So that was definitely worth it. It was definitely a lot of time though, like because it was a lot of like after hours work, in the sense that I would plan my tutoring sessions and like lesson plan and do all of that, and then like writing assignments, and then I have to grade them myself, and get feedback and have office hours. So it was a lot of time, and I only did that one semester, partly because I didn't have time for it my spring semester, since I did an externship that required those units, and so I didn't continue it. I will probably be a tutor, but a different type of tutor, so it won't require all those lesson planning or things like that. It would just be office hours and assisting the professor in grading the assignments that the professor assigns, instead of my own, instead of like me assigning and then also grading them. So it'll be different, but definitely something worth it, because you're reworking that material. And I don't know if other law schools have any like tutors, like peer tutors. I don't know if that's the thing that exists or it just exists at my law school, but definitely worth it. I was also involved in the Immigration Law Association, and I was the co-president this year, and I'm still going to be involved in it next year, but as a treasurer, like I'm definitely stepping down, not doing any big roles, because although I think it is worth it, and ultimately it was worth it, I had a great time this year, being part of like an association like that and like planning events and like being more social can take a toll for sure. Like I felt a lot of pressure. It was hard to manage doing like planning things and like doing things and then like trying to enjoy them, and also studying and going to school and like all the other things that I also did, because not everybody allows the same amount of time to these things. And I'm someone who, I think I've mentioned it before in other vlogs, like if I'm gonna do something, like I'm gonna 100% do it. Like I'm gonna do what it takes to make sure things happen as well as they should, as well as they could, because in my mind, like they should go well. So like a caveat, I think I would say like student associations like are great, they're fun, like be members for sure, like go to events if you have time for them and they're interesting to you. But being on the board, like definitely think about that one. Like definitely sit down and ask yourself like what type of person are you gonna like wear hoops and do things, and like if people are just like dropping the ball, like are you gonna just sweep in and do it, like no questions asked? Like are you going to make sure you have boundaries and stuff, which is something that I've never really been good at with social groups and things like that, because again, I just like want to see everything go well, and it's hard for me to just sit there and be like, okay, you're not doing it, so let it just fail. Like that feels uncomfortable to me. So that's my caveat for associations like that. Just be careful and like think about how you are as a person. I think it is worth it, but the involvement will depend and will vary with how much you need to be able to focus on school. So it's definitely a balance, and it's hard to learn, but take that with a grain of salt. I'm not going to say don't join groups, because I think it's great and you meet cool people, but think about it before you do. Another thing that I was involved in was being the pro bono coordinator at my school, and also mainly running. I'm like the main point person for a mentorship program with my high school. I started this last year, my 1L year, in February. I called up my old advisor and I was like, hi, hello, is anybody running a mentorship program for these students? Like, okay, I will build this. Let's do it. So last year was a lot more like on me, like planning things and doing things. This year I definitely did have a team. Like I kind of asked for folks to help run this if this is something they were interested in, and there were a few people who helped But like I said, it's still kind of the main person because it's barely the second year that this has happened. So it's like two main things on top of being a tutor and being the co-president for this org that I was doing mainly on my own. And so this part where like, is it worth it? Because that's a lot of time. That's a lot of like brain power, a lot of like effort, a lot of me wanting things to go well and not just like mediocre or failing. And it's a lot of time. And so I will probably step down on the mentorship program role now that there's an expansion of team members who are helping run this, and like be like, okay, for my last year of law school, like I think I need to step away because it is a lot of work, and that's just one of the places that I can probably step back from in order to be able to give, again, my classes the attention they need, because all of this would be on weekends or after school, but at the same time it's like that's usually when I would read and when I would review concepts and practice hypos my 1L year, when I didn't have any of these things happening. In the pro bono coordinator role, like it is a lot of like emailing, a lot of organizing events, and working with one of the deans, and I love it. It's been great working and doing stuff. And it was also my first year in the role, so it was a learning curve. So for next year, I'm still going to be doing that role, but we are going to be doing some summer planning to make the year just go smoother. So I'm looking forward to that, and like I think it's definitely worth it, because again, it's like building connections. So it's like I'm not here to tell you like do them or not do them. It's just you need to think about like why you're doing extracurriculars. Are they serving you well? Is it something you're interested in? Is it something that you enjoy spending time on? Because if neither of those are true, like if you're not getting anything from it, you don't like spending time on there and time doing that thing, and like it takes away from like primarily like your goal, which is to pass your classes and graduate law school so you can take the bar and be an attorney, then it's not worth it, right? And it's like I feel like all of those different things are on a scale. Like some of them could be at 10 out of 10, others can be like it's a 5, but like the other two categories are like 8s and 9s, so it's like ultimately it ends up being worth it, then that's fine. It's just like it's like being cognizant. And so going into next year, like a lot of these roles like easily transfer into the next year, and I'm the one who had to think about it and be like, okay, like tutoring, I can't do that same amount of level, like it's too much. I couldn't even do it like to the next one. Being like co-president or even like stepping down to like VP or something that just requires more, it was also something that I just knew I couldn't do, because like it was like way too much on me personally, because I wanted to like bring new ideas and like execute them and like have people come and also enjoy them, and it's a lot. So like, you know what, I'm gonna step down to a role where I'm still involved, but like I have like one role as a treasurer, like I focus on the money and that's it. So it's a lot more like narrow, so I feel like that's gonna be helpful for me to like manage. And then the mentorship program, like stepping away from like a leadership role, I still haven't decided if I'm gonna still stay as a mentor, because as a mentor we meet with high school mentees once a month from like October to April. So it's not too much, but at the same time it's like I just don't know, because that's something else I need to schedule. So I haven't decided that, but I do know that I'm going to be stepping away from a leadership role. And then the pro bono coordinator, again, like just putting in like summer time before going into the year so that it's smoother and I'm not having to like sit there and like plan and then like develop and think of all these new things like in the moment. So I don't know, like are extracurriculars worth it? It depends. Classic law school answer. It depends on you, but like I just wanted to make this video and share like what goes into deciding if extracurriculars are worth it, and kind of how I've thought of it this year, just because it was so much that I was handling this year, and it did make my year harder, because again, I would spend time and effort doing these things, and sometimes I would not spend the time I needed for classes, or was rushing or heavily relying on my friends, and they were great, but you know, I don't want to be in that spot like where I'm heavily relying on my friends. I want to be able to attend class myself and take notes and like understand material instead of like going through a horrible finals season trying to figure it out, staying up really late, etc. So it'll depend on you, but I just wanted to make this video and share my thoughts on some of the extracurriculars that I was involved in, and which ones I'm thinking of dropping or how I'm gonna change them in order to have a more fun, less crazy three lol year next year. I doubt there's gonna be lol in my 3L year, but I am hoping that it's a 3 lol year because people say 3 lol for a reason, right? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be lolling. That sounds horrible. I don't think that made any sense, but hopefully this video was somewhat helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.